This is Kitt, my patch-restricted achievement hunter. Her goal is to complete every single achievement in Final Fantasy XIV in order of their release, one patch at a time. No player trading, no market boards. How long will it take for me to go completely insane? Let's find out. With a substantial part of patch 2.5 finally completed, from the Lucius tools to Odin to sitting through too many hours of cutscenes for the MSQ, half of the achievements have now been claimed. However, this patch is far from finished. The biggest priority is the culmination of the Crystal Tower storyline, chasing down Nero and learning what else we can about Emperor Xande, since this prevents me from finishing ARR. Additionally, as a nice reprieve from the potential world-ending storylines that continuously ring out through these games, the Hildebrand Manderville side quests offer quite the comedic break with unique characters. This side story has been a fan favorite since its introduction back in 1.21 and has been added to each major patch since 2.1, with achievements finally being added to it this patch. Players can't get enough of this, considering they are still being added in Dawntrail. Hell, even the Endwalker relic weapon is tied to the Manderville story, but that's a problem for me multiple years from now. I am sure it will take a while before I reach 6.1, especially with Savage Coils still being a problem. Quite a few PvP achievements were also added, and since everyone knows how much I despise PvP, I'll discuss them a little later. Either way, for now, it's time to put on our investigative caps and inspect things extraordinarily. The first clues lead to the quest, The Rise and Fall of Gentlemen, from Wymond in Ul'dah, who asks if I know of an individual named Hildebrand. I, of course, know him quite well, but as Patchlock Kitt hasn't met him yet, I choose that option. Wymond describes him as Eorzea's greatest inspector, though what he means I am still not quite sure. When the fall of Dalamud occurred, Hildebrand claimed he found a way to stop it, and he launched himself at the moon.
Aye, that's right, he flew. Launches himself straight into the air somehow, ridiculous as it sounds. Of course, it's only logical that he's got to come back down. That was only recently that we found his body.
As a quick note here, I went looking for the original Hildebrand cutscenes from 1.2, and they are quite interesting. So at the end of the story in 1.23a, Hildebrand picks up a spear, which will be important later, and accidentally launches himself into the sky by exploding some flammable ash that we spread on the ground. When Wymond mentions he flew, he really meant it. I'll link this video I got these from in the description. Back to Kitt of the past. Nashu, his assistant, became an inspector in his stead, and despite being Nashu, that will make more sense later, I promise you, she has spent time investigating zombies. Wymond asked me to help her, so I followed the trail to Hildebrand's grave to meet the second best character of the storyline.
Hello, Nashu. Sweetheart. Oh, she's so precious.
I inform her that I am here to help her, and she raves about him and remembers him so strongly it triggers the echo, which I may or may not still have because Midgard Stormer sealed the blessing. Regardless, despite her despair about his death, she vows to take his place.
I, Nashu, Inspector Extraordinaire, will carry on your legacy.
Nashu asks me to investigate a plight of dapper zombies in southern Thandolin and try to befriend them and meet their leader so that I can slay him again. With that fine plan of action, I traverse down there where, thankfully, the fate is active, and after slaying a bunch of those zombies again, along with making a new friend...
Oh shit, that's not who I want. Okay, well, I'm gonna have to deal with this tortoise being alive for the entire rest of this fate, because I'm not killing it.
Kill the fucking turtle!
I can't, I'm on a time crunch! The zombies must die, Maeve. The turtle will follow me around, he is my friend.
I find a strange parchment which reads, "A gentleman is, rather than does." This clue means absolutely nothing to me right now, so I make my way back to Nashu to show it to her, and she immediately runs off to the same place I just was, so I expend even more of my precious resources to follow her to the bottom of the Sigoli to see what lays in store for us there.
Who summons the gentle dead men? My brothers, lend me your ears. A gentleman does not dine upon his guests. How did he get up there? Spare these two fair ladies your mastications. Withdraw, I say, and harass them no more. It is you, it really is you. I knew nothing could kill the great Inspector Hildebrand. Hildebrand? Who is this Hildebrand of whom you speak? My name is Zombiebrand, the devourer of brains, undead overlord extraordinaire.
I got a question. Hildebrand says he's a devourer of brains. Does that mean he ate a brain at one point? I think he's eating people.
Potentially. Well, Inspector, just confuse us all. Don't worry, I'll knock some sense back into that noggin of yours. Crashing into the ground made you forget that an explosion of equal force ought to make you remember. I'll save you, Inspector, or kill you trying. See, even you acknowledge the possibility that this plan will result in my... God, why is Nashu amazing? Death. Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, has awoken at last. Where's this faint tingling sensation in my arm? It's ringing in my ears. This dizziness. Could it be a case?
Nashu's explosive expertise never fails to amaze. With Zombie Brand no more and the inspector back with us, he rushes off to Ul'dah in search of a case. After interviewing some potential witnesses, we learn of a duelist taking people's weapons when they lose. Yellow Moon lost her wand, and while tracing her steps to find out how she lost it, Nashu notices some strange crates around, so she asks me to blow them sky high, and I humbly oblige her. Strange men are revealed hidden in it with the wand, which we retrieve. They happen to be just devotees of Yellow Moon. Can't say I understand their level of zeal, but you do you guys. But she gets her weapon back. A woman appears named Ellie and offers us information on a person who lost to the duelist. Following the trail, I trudge to the Golden Bazaar through the desert heat yet again and meet Elazar, who gave his blade to Humphrey, who then lost it, and pushes his failing onto us to find the sword that he lost. While digging through a pond for a facsimile, Hildebrand asks for some uncomfortable services.
Why is it both Hildebrands do this? Both of them do this. We did this for Godber earlier. Quickly now, before it dries, knead the oil into my aching flesh. Gently now, gently. This is so cringe. I hate this.
We love when it's oil time.
Nashu manages to trip over one we can use, and she rushes off to fetch the inspector some new clothes. With our quarry claimed, I head back to the bazaar and deliver the weapon and hair tonic to Elazar when something happens.
There appears to be something lodged in my forehead. Could it be a missive from an adoring admirer? Oh my god, did this guy use literally every tonic bottle? Look at the floor! I shall come to claim the collector's blade. Is that supposed to be flattering? No, you, it's supposed to be intimidating. The duelist wrote this. He's daring you to stop him. What is that face? Yeah, there's the pristine shine. It's so dumb! I, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, accept your challenge. How much longer must I seek the blade of legend? Oh, he has Nail's gun spear? Excuse me?
With those minor investigations over, the 2.1 quests are done, and I get to head on to the next set.
All right, the science of deduction. 2.2.
Ellie mentions following a new lead with a woman who's difficult to handle, and as we start making our way over, I unlock and set up the PF for Odin, so you'll be seeing that fill on the side. We purchase some lovely flowers from Drybone when a gentleman catches a criminal. Clearly not an important character where they avoid showing his face on purpose. I travel to Vesper Bay with one of my dwindling copies of Aetheryte tickets and speak to Lady Dorilda, a pompous and pretentious woman who thinks her beauty lasting. Girl, that eyeshadow does nothing for you. Please pick a better color next time. She scoffs at us trying to warn her and introduces us to the inspector she hired for the job.
Ships that pass the night as signals shown in the darkness. The lady cries out for a guardian and a gentleman must needs oblige. I swear to you here and now, I, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, shall neither slumber nor sleep until the fiend who covets the tree blade is brought to justice. I haven't spent a single gil on an insufferable incompetence. To be fair, you were not spending a single gil on me.
Briardane, an actually competent inspector for once, he and Hildebrand exchange some verbal sparring before he leaves. In Hildebrand's desire for Dorilda's recognition, he jumps at a chance to recover a vase lost by her daughter, and we rush off to Nafika's wells to pick up the pieces. While investigating, we find a strange oaf digging through the water, and that he lost his weapon to a large creature. I wonder what weapon. It turns out he stepped on the case, so I pick up the pieces and Hildebrand talks about a goldsmith of some repute.
That man is no mere goldsmith. You speak of him as one would of a great warrior. Where are my manners? I get to properly introduce myself. I'm Gilgamesh, and this is my companion, Enkidu. Well, not really. It's been many moons since I last saw her. So to ease the burden of loneliness, I tamed a rooster and painted it green. In any case, you mean to search for this goldsmith, yes? If so, it would be my pleasure to help. Pleasure's all mine, Gilgamesh. I, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, inspector extraordinaire, bid you welcome. It is that hard for you to remember. I give you leave to call me Gil. Oh, did he say it wrong? Oh, excellent suggestion, Greg. Oh, Gilligan. He said Gilligan.
I head off to Northern Thanolin, tense and nervous about what we might find, when Odin fills and we go beat him up. Searching for clues, I find a trail of carcasses beaten to death by a hammer, with bloody footprints heading away. With fear in my heart, I continue heading up before Hildebrand tries to summon the person.
I must dance! I'm a Manderville man, doing what only a Manderville can. From the peaks of Kurthis to Thanolin, Manderville man. I cannot avert mine eyes! I can't because the camera won't let me. I neglected to properly stretch my legs beforehand. My good woman, I see no other solution. You must dance in my stead.
Since it's now my responsibility as Hildebrand failed to stretch, I do something unspeakable.
Dance yourself a Manderville man. You would do what only a Manderville can, that lift your legs and put up your hands, be a Manderville man. Wait, I know you. She of strong yet tender fingers. I forgot there's... Oh my god, I forgot there's a callback. More importantly, how in the hell did you learn the Manderville? If I did not teach you, then who? Bye, Hildebrand. Oh my god. Hildebrand healing Maximilian Manderville. I like how he limit breaks him into the fucking slam. That's terrifying. It really is.
Godbert repairs the vase after a plea from his son and manages to absolutely flounder by destroying the historical value of the vase and changing it to something completely different. Alas, it is time for the funeral march, as Hildebrand will not get his opportunity. We solemnly make our way back to Vesper Bay and hand over the vase to Dorilda. She spouts it as gaudy trash and asks to throw it out, but Godbert quickly puts her in her place.
I might have gathered from your previous comments that you do not like my reconstruction. Your reconstruction? Oh, I don't like it. I love it. I would go so far as to call it the new centerpiece of my Thor Dynasty collection. I would relieve put in most of distress had you said otherwise.
With Hildebrand now unfortunately on the case, Briardine concedes the plan to get the blade safely here and informs us that the duelist is a towering brute dressed in red who wields a halberd. We don't know anyone like that, surely. After they leave, Gilgamesh rejoins us and we make our way to Kurthis to be unsuspecting individuals as the plan moves forward. After some random nonsense within, Nashu finds the gun spear from 1.0 again and gives it to Hildebrand before we head out to the East Gate. After sitting outside for an eternity, Gilgamesh describes his lost weapon, and after recognizing it, Hildebrand and Gilgamesh engage in a tug of war.
Can't believe I'm saying this, but well done, Inspector. Thanks to you, we've caught the weapon thief in the act. Estelle, you're really misfitting our dispute. Greg is a good, honest man who I am certain has never stolen a weapon in his life. Indeed, I have not. Every weapon I have claimed was by rights mine. Each was a trophy for besting my opponent in single combat. I believe this constitutes a confession. Seize him. Confession to what? I have done not wrong. But yes, my plan to secure Greg's confession was utterly flawless, and his capture will be the coup de grace.
Chasing Greg, Hildebrand is a bit creepy by recognizing me from my footsteps. That's really not something a woman wants to hear.
As you have doubtless deduced, I was unable to prevent Greg from escaping through the doors. I must leave the rest to you. Yes, it was I behind these doors the whole time. You took so long to arrive, I was getting worried you might have gotten lost. Long did I wonder what your role in this play was. Silent Guardian, content to watch events unfold with minimal interaction. At the last I understand, we were fated to duel, you and I. The best mean you may have the spear. Fail and your weapons are forfeit. I have a lot of weapons, dude. For Gilgamesh, it's embiggening time. He did get a lot bigger.
After hunting a free A rank, I queue into the new trial. It is time to face off on a big bridge.
Let's do it. Double Dark Knight, baby. Let's go.
He can randomly transform players into toads, which will be chased by the chicken and take heavy damage from them. At half health, he'll grovel.
Ha! I lied!
Which is a long cast that does minimal damage in an AoE around himself. Then he runs away and has a small ads phase.
We can take it into the arena. Did you know you could walk into the arena with the mobs? I'll bet you didn't. Oh, he just spawns.
The other special mechanic he has is Minimum, which shrinks players for 20 seconds, reducing their damage output. He will then chase them and use conal AoEs on them repeatedly. He can also use Rocket Punch, targeting random players and firing AoEs at them that apply Confused, which makes them attack a random nearby player and... You can cleanse it by fully healing the target? I never knew that. Why would the... Never mind. Something to keep in mind for future runs, I guess. Regardless, he's a super easy fight, especially with all the job changes over time, and he falls over very fast.
Well then, that's enough of a beating for now.
Doesn't even adhere to his own rules. How does Enkidu carry him? She doesn't, but that's funny. Duty complete.
With his escape, we make our way back to Vesper Bay to check in with Dorilda. Briardine passes her the treaty blade and she leaves with it. Not in the direction of her house? That's strange. Especially when a second Dorilda shows up? Briardine finds a mask and realizes the thief made off with the weapon.
This is addressed to me, condescending Inspector Briardine. Piss off. 400 years have I slept, 1,000 faces do I wear. What is yours will be mine, I shall come to claim the Lapis Maiden's virtue.
Briardine and Hildebrand get into pointless fighting and then chase each other completely around Vesper Bay. And with that, 2.2 ends, and we continue investigating into 2.3. Ellie once again steps forward with information, identifying the Lapis Maiden as Arabella, Guguremu's daughter. She's never been seen before, but supposedly has hair and eyes an exceptional shade of blue. Some rumors claim she is to be wed at Costa del Sol, where she may appear. We head over together to find any more potential leads, where Guguremu tells us to get lost and that he has things completely under control with sufficient protection. Briardine steps up and takes on the investigation, who runs down a list of potential suspects, including some Lalafels, which leads to a question.
If the guy could turn into a Lalafell after pretending to be, the pure woman, would be kind of crazy.
However, Hildebrand, of course, makes his appearance and a fool of himself. Briardine pulls me aside to point out the mannerisms of the thief being the most intriguing part, as he perfectly fit the role of these characters, with a glamour prism and the mask to complete the appearance. These important clues lead us to believe that one of the Brass Blade's bodyguards could be the thief's current disguise, so we canvass the area to find the man left behind. Following the traces on my trusty map that has omniscience for my cause, I find him and he tells us of his charges. So I return and Hildebrand gets the information so far from me and assails Morgan to see if he is the thief. Nothing comes of it and we move straight on to the next two, which also yield no fruits, aside from Nashu writing down his words.
He's so fast, Inspector. The sign of a quick mind, I'm sure. Now where was I? Give up hope. He of many faces will laugh last. The Lapis Maiden shall not be the only one to come to harm. I'm not sure this captures the Inspector's intended meaning.
I check on the new supplies after the previous food was attacked by Mandragoras and find a strange situation unfolding.
Oh, those are mine, Inspector. I was looking for a place to set them down. You see, and the coconuts were looking awfully lonely. Your enthusiasm is always admirable, Nashu. In this event, I fear it's somewhat misdirected. Uh-oh, don't look down, but someone has returned at the absolute worst possible time. Hildebrand has managed thus far to not destroy anything. Consider me something almost resembling impressed. Indeed, but enough about Hildebrand and Kitt and I have been waiting to hear your latest theories. We should go somewhere quiet and... I have an idea, Miss Ellie. Oh yes, that over there just by the crate should suffice. Bloody hells, don't worry, Kitt. I'll figure out some way to lead him clear of the bombs. Is it just me or is it a bit chill in the air? Perhaps we should go someplace warm. Now it rolls. Of course it does. Look on well, Miss Ellie. Perhaps you were right. I too feel a chill wind blowing in. Maybe we should continue our conversation elsewhere. But there's no need. Wait here and I shall build us a fire. Here we are. This piece of driftwood should serve perfectly. And as fortune would have it, I just happen to have a flintstone on my person. Slowly backing up. There's no cause for alarm. Just not blood that courses through the Inspector's veins, but ice. I could not fathom a series of events that leads such a calm and composed individual to lose his firm grip on that fiery torch. It's flying. Uh-oh. Oh, this is where he gets the message, right? Everything is proceeding according to my master plan. Could this be another challenge from the fiend? Surely, yes, Inspector. This is nothing like his usual cards. See, now it's just the idle ravings of some madman. There are 2 more pages. He of many faces will laugh last. It is not the Lapis Maiden alone that shall come to harm. What is this talk of another victim? The final page holds the answer, no doubt. Confounding Inspector Briardine will meet a fiery demise. Ah! Dude! This is so dumb! Pick the bomb away, Ellie. Doesn't he fail to catch it? It hits him in the head, right? No, it hits him in the head. Oh, even better. Oh no, it sits on his head. It bounces on his head. How it spins the other way, I don't understand. It's very, very flat. But the thing is, if its head was flat, it would keep spinning. It would keep rotating. It wouldn't stop spinning. Yeah, she sees it, then it falls forward. Yeah. Loretta Manderville, were you able to learn aught of the fiend who made his ignoble attempt on my life? Exhausted every effort, Inspector, but I fear our quarry proves very elusive. Ever elusive. Excellent. I might have died of shock if you had.
Unfortunately, Hildebrand survives yet another major explosion, and the investigation continues. So I talk to Lewenhart to figure out how to replace the precious vegetables. He directs me to find something resembling an Eorzean dragon pepper, but is purple in color.
Oh, a formidable foe indeed. We're only that a brave soul in our midst with a wand for taking on fearsome enemies and not a shred of concern for her own well-being. Your eyes, friend, they speak to me. They say, yes, I shall vanquish these rogue vegetables and deliver the purloined goods back to the rightful owner.
With him volunteering me, I dejectedly go handle this matter by learning of the Mandragora's whereabouts and find them having ruined a merchant in Elport, taking his wares to the Isle of Umbra, where I commence a special fate. Dealing with the Mandragoras is really simple, as they just run around being nuisances, but once defeated, I retrieve the stolen foodstuffs and deliver them to Lewenhart, where something suspicious occurs.
Or the peppers have changed color. This peppers that possess the same powers of disguise as our many-faced foe? Gentlemen must needs investigate. Striking shade of blue, quite far from the purple that Master Lewinhart described. Perhaps we discovered the wrong crate? Did I say purple? And purplish blue or bluish purple? Two colors are really quite similar when you think about it.
Mistaking blue for purple is unfeasible, except for me and my colorblindness, unless the person was wearing red goggles. The perpetrator runs, and we all give chase, where we find the real Lewinhart. Upon further inquiry, he informs us that he was able to give the thief a knife wound in his hand, hence why he wore gloves beforehand. We return Lewinhart to Wineport and finally meet Arabella, and learn this marriage is arranged and she does not care for Vanez. Returning to Costa del Sol to continue the investigation, Briardine found no leads and venomously requests Hildebrand make a diversion of some kind, who leaves her the chance to show up the inspector. I instead help Arabella disguise herself in order to help the distraction and draw the thief with her hidden in plain sight, so I give her some servant's clothes to blend in. I deliver the dress to Hildebrand and watch the chaos unfold.
Friends, family, business associates, 'tis an honor and a pleasure to welcome one and all to Costa del Sol for today's feast. We trust that you've been enjoying fine food, fine spirits, and profitable conversation. Lapis Maiden, if even half the tales of her beauty are true, Vanez is the luckiest bastard in the realm. Ladies and gentlemen, may I present my son's lovely bride, the Lapis Maiden whose beauty minstrels will sing for ages to come. Damn you, Hildebrand Manderville, you had one job. She's beautiful. With a rabble accepting otherwise, she is my bride after all. Lady, they say your beauty transcends even the boundaries of time. When we are wed, you will want for nothing. Pray give your hand unto me. My sun and stars, yes, 1,000 times yes, I'm yours and shall be forevermore. Fear not, ladies and gentlemen, for Miss Arabella is safe and sound. I, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, Inspector Extraordinaire, have but assumed the maiden's appearance to ensnare the vile fiend who would take aim at her life. Oh, she's just asleep. You, me, the thief, are you mad? Here's the magical deductions have proved beyond the grasp of your mind. Here, allow me to elucidate. While there's not a soul in the realm who has heard the tale of Miss Arabella's beauty, there are but two men here in Costa del Sol who have gazed upon her lovely visage before today. Her father, Kagarumu, and her steward, Lewinhart. As you yourself admitted on multiple occasions, Master Vanez, you were to have your first glimpse of your bride-to-be today. Considered in this light, would you not say your reaction upon first seeing my face was most unnatural? Who else would see through my genius disguise? How dare you make a mockery of my wedding day? I mean, he does have gloves on. Arabella, thank the God you're safe. Come with me quickly. There's a dangerous madman about. Glove on his right hand. Could it be? Aha, the man is a fool, and it would have behooved you to listen to him. Alas, you did not. Now what is yours is now mine. It's a thief! Stop wasting your time with that imbecile. Arrest him! The answer is most flattering, but I have taken what I came for. And the real Vanez was found bound and gagged in a storage room. Truly, Miss Arabella, I am sorry. For what, milady? The banquet was more exciting than I could ever have hoped for. Vanez and his father were furious, of course, and our marriage has been called off. But perhaps it's for the best. I would find my own way to make father happy by living my life as I would live it. It is you, Inspector Hildebrand, who taught me this lesson. One thing still puzzles me. The thief's challenge said he would steal the Lapis Maiden's virtue, yet in the end he took only her neckpiece. Now that you mentioned, Master of Uruma told me about the clasp when it first arrived. Engraved with the mark of the Sun Goddess, it is one of the most treasured pieces from the Brigadier Consortium, known by many as Azema's virtue. The Maiden's virtue indeed. When the next challenge comes, we must take extra care to read between the lines. Here it comes. What are they waiting for? Oh, they're looking for the card to come. Here it comes. Oh no, poor Mandragora. Over here, Inspector. It says, made you look. In the back of his head. There we go. Being played us for fools. Give me that at once. When next we meet, I shall come to claim the victor's spoils. Another riddle. Nothing else. It appears the thief has abandoned any foolish notions of my assassination, so he must ever be on guard. The fiend attempted murder once, he may very well do so again. Hear me, man of 1,000 faces. You sealed your fate when you called me out by name. Except he didn't. Mark my words. When next we meet, you will be mine. Yes, it was the Phantom Thief who was to blame for that bomb. Truly, verily, and indubitably the Phantom Thief. Oh, the letters. Right. Oh, certainly. Ha 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 ha. Aw, poor Mandragora. Now she's holding the Mandragora. I did not notice that before.
With that, the next part of the story in 2.4 is now open. Before moving on, however, there is another part of 2.5 that needs finishing, the Crystal Tower storyline with the final raid. As a brief reminder, I previously assailed Circus Tower and slew Emperor Zonde at the peak, where the Cloud of Darkness claimed Une, Doga, and Nero as he chased them and dragged all 3 of them into the void. Now, with Sid's help and the rest of the Garland Ironworks crew, they aim to create a void rift to traverse through to save our friends. With Graha by my side, we force open a void gate at Xande's throne, and he asks I talk beforehand. He informs me about his vast knowledge of Alleg appearing from nowhere, and that his special eye is a trait of Allegan royalty. He asks to come with us to discover some of the truth, and with my support, I queue up.
Double healer, I guess, so we get in faster.
I'm done. Whenever it gets us in, I'm done.
30 minutes! Oh, beautiful, lovely. It's about what I expect. All right, Maeve, get cozy.
Yeah, what if we just like hop the Aether real quick and just do it there?
All right, let's try again. Ruin people's day.
Attempt number 2.
Only 8 minutes. Oh, there we go. Let's do it.
The final Alliance raid of ARR, the World of Darkness. This raid is notorious among players as the most common Alliance raid to get in the roulettes, and in many ways, the most dangerous of the ARR ones. Many times do entire raids wipe to mechanics as players disrespect them, thinking early content is simple. Even the trash is dangerous, as the first pack includes Garms, Chimera mobs that can freeze players with Rem's voice and use Marrow Drain to restore their large health pools. Once those packs go down, the first boss on Gramania is a real threat. His core mechanics include Mortal Gaze, which if you are looking at the boss, gives Doom, which requires standing on the glowing floor tile to cleanse. He can also use level 150 Death, which if the levels of players within the AoE are a multiple of 150, or any multiple of 3 players, this instantly kills all of them. This boss can be quite dangerous, and I've had to raise people 10 times or more in this fight before. However, with a mildly competent party, it falls quite easily, leading to more trash with the Forbidden Gates, which must be destroyed or will summon additional adds when the Void Call cast ends. Players commonly use Caster or Range Limit Break to destroy them all quickly. The next boss, the 5-headed dragon, requires using 5 dragon monsters as material. Wait, that's the wrong game. I mean, this boss has multiple elemental attacks, and the most dangerous ones involve Ice, which expands on the ground and freezes players in place with a dot, and when the text "the dragon inhales" and targets a single player. This player will shortly have a massive untelegraphed AoE on themselves that inflicts vulnerability ups on all players hit. It is not too dangerous, but can quickly rack up damage and kill players that aren't paying attention. With it defeated, the next pack involves alliance splits to defeat each Atomos. One thing I like to troll Maeve with is to try to get her sucked up when I get targeted by the Atomos. One time, however, I managed to catch 6 players on accident, and then the 8th got knocked off with Shockwave. It was quite the experience, and I'm really sad I don't have a recording of it. Once they fall, the next boss, Cerberus, blocks the way. The alliances each have responsibilities, as some people like to say, with the ABCs of Cerberus. A for ads, B for belly, and C for chains. Or, always in belly, better be in belly, and come on into the belly. I usually try to aim for the chains to restrain him after the belly crew does their work, because as long as he is reawakening, he isn't attacking, and it's time for free damage. I usually hold the chain for about 15 to 20 seconds, then I remove the buff on myself by right-clicking it, and pick it up again. I then stand next to the boss until reawakening passes the first N, or my transporting buff reaches 5 seconds remaining, and then chain him. This gives like an extra 30 seconds of free damage that players constantly complain about. Eventually he falls, and after receiving the Mapping the Realm achievement, the final boss awaits. The Cloud of Darkness stands before us, in her easiest iteration, being the safest boss of the entire raid. None of her mechanics are dangerous, and she falls quite fast. Defeating her awards an achievement for finishing the raid, and with the Covenant broken, I rush to rescue Une and Doga, and Nero too, I guess. His violet complexion comes from the wounds allowing the void to ravage his body. Graha is protected from the Cloud of Darkness's attacks, proving the royal blood in his veins, so Une and Doga donate to him their blood to strengthen the bloodline and gain control over the Crystal Tower. With our escape of the void, and Sid saving his husband after he is cleansed, I speak to Rambros to rest, finishing the quest and moving on to the final step, where a researcher informs us that Graha ordered the researchers to leave the tower in a hurry. So I race over to see what he is up to.
But no further, my friends, the doors will close ere long. My father told me the truth has always lain with Alleg. Rather, 'twas there the wish I must grant was born. Only member of Alleg's royalty to outlive the Empire, the Princess Selena. Selena was moved by the people's dearest wish. She used the very best of Alleg's technology to give her blood and memories to whom she trusted most. The man was my forebearer. Now I must fulfill the wish of the ancients. The tower will shine forth as a new beacon of hope. We need technology as advanced as Alleg's to use it correctly. As things stand, we barely understand the tower's workings. Hells, we may never fully comprehend them. So what if I do as Ammon did and put the tower into a deep sleep? I will slumber within Circus Tower until then to greet those with the means to open the gates. But yours lies outside of these doors. Go. Create a future where hope reigns and the tragedies of the past are but memories. No one but you can accomplish such things. You shall be witness to Noah's accomplishments. Pray keep alive our successes and forgive us our failures. And may we meet again, my friend. And you, Kitt, I know history will remember you. No doubt your heroism will be the star by which I chart my course when I awake. True, it is, literally. Farewell, my friends. I eagerly await a future born of your courage and the ancient's wish. Eternal Wind is a really good song, for sure. It kind of fits this moment, too. Since it is a Crystal Tower thing.
With Graha sealed away for who knows how long, I finished the quest, earning an achievement and finally unlocking the ability to finish the MSQ in 2.55, as I would have been cut off before being able to finish it. With the Crystal Tower completed, more investigative work lays ahead. I reconvene with Ellie to discuss any leads she might have, and she directs me to investigate the Colosseum in Ul'dah, as there is a major tournament being held there with very big sponsors. Visiting a colleague of hers, we overhear some guys being forced to withdraw due to a potential sabotage.
Hutchin, should you not be resting your wounds? Oh, but forgive your incompetent, unworthy comrade. If I had been quicker with my mantra, we still would be 4 men strong. Don't operate yourself so, Haimo. In victory and in defeat, the Montrevilles fight as one. You bear no more responsibility for my wounds than I. The Montrevilles? Aye, as Hutchin tells it, they took their name from a training partner they met at the Fist of Augur, a man who they most admired for his devotion to chiseled physique.
Ganelin mentions that most of the competitors have withdrawn, and so I interviewed Dower Meadow, the head of the tournament, when a fight breaks out between two individuals.
Our challenger unleashes a vicious right hook as the gentleman inspector is channeling his strength for his next attack. Ladies and gentlemen, we have a winner! A true gentleman eschews violence. You were thinking, it annoyed me.
Dower Meadow touts the prizes for the tournament as incredible and says we can only have the prizes if we win as combatants, then summons a receptionist.
Any moment, will you? I've only got 8 arms, or were they legs? Ultros! Slobbering cephalopod.
A real creepy void scent, definitely saying some uncomfortable things. Regardless of that, I am forced to enter the ring, and Briardine has me step in on his behalf.
A Genesis? You do look like a Genesis. I think I'd see the day when a warrior of light stood in my Colosseum.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Necessary it must be to continue the investigation. We reconvene with Ganelin to learn of the injuries, which all occurred right after they were matched with Avila. One of the people who lost to her claims she's cheating and blames it on her Alamegan heritage, much to all of our chagrin. Hildebrand blames Ultros and books it for him, which I must begrudgingly follow. After stalking him being a creep on some women,
Master Ulti seems to have found himself another gladiatrix. What might he be plotting this time? Look at those succulent legs. I reckon they taste just wonderful in a good marinara sauce. Oh, isn't that Julian? No, it's not. Because if it was Julian, she would have just beaten him senseless. She wouldn't have run away. Yes. Now perhaps we should return to our investigation. If Avila is as suspicious as they say, perhaps we should follow her around for a bit. Dower Meadow back at the Colosseum should be able to enlighten us as to her whereabouts. Honestly, this is probably going to get condensed down to like maybe 5 or 6 minutes in the actual video. Like this is not going to be a long section. And for Avila, you say, she said something about sharing a flagon with her countrymen over at the coffer and coffin. We might still find her there. Hello, Hildy. Spying on a young woman again?
I track down Avila with Dower Meadow's information and follow her out of a bar through Central Thanalin as she talks about her confirmed win with the first prize. I continue following her and find her talking to her sister, participating in this fight for the sake of making her sister's life better. Meanwhile, Ultros tries to get me murdered.
You think you could just fall in this pit and die like a good little girl? Not you, you idiot. No need for concern, friends. Simply taking the liberty of investigating this hole in the ground, and I'm pleased to report that there seems to be nothing out of the ordinary. Also, how do I not see Ultros? Did that muzzlehead dive straight into my trap to save his companions? I think that means I'm going to show mercy on you. You've got another thing coming. Time to break out the big guns, kids. Wait a minute. I dug 2 pits, didn't I? Couldn't think of it. The second one was right around... Give me a break!
Before we return, Hildebrand puts on a show of being afraid of an adversary, when Godbird appears and saves our skins behind the scenes. Even Greg makes a reappearance. We finally head back to the Colosseum and properly prepare for battle. Prior to that, I update Briardine on the information we've gotten so far, and after presuming that Ultros was involved with Avila's intimidation, he asks I check the Colosseum refuse for anything out of the ordinary. A merchant's brand is on the trash we found, and I approach him to gather more information. He informs us that Ultros purchased multiple large sacks of gold truffles, which are extremely expensive and have a very distinctive aroma. No more stalling, however, off to combat in the Colosseum. Ultros ends up filling in for one of the missing fighters, so the 7 of us enter the arena. Avila confirms she's working with Ultros as they square off against everyone else. She immediately topples 3 of the gladiators, and Ultros steps over to do something devious. However, the roasted truffle recipe Hildebrand discussed with the merchant earlier completely foils the plan, which Briardine then catches onto, revealing Typhon.
Mr. Typhon, is it that your stomach I hear rumbling? Could I introduce some roasted truffles, perhaps?
Hildebrand causes him to sneeze, revealing the ace up Avila's sleeve.
Don't look at me, it was all her idea. I'm just a stupid octopus. You were the one who approached me, you double-dealing fiend.
She is now, however, disqualified for cheating, and a new battle with the two Voidsent and myself is to take place at Halatali, which unlocks the Dragon's Neck trial.
Let's fucking go! 30 fucking minutes? Alright, okay. I went back to white mage, I went back to white mage. Let's try it again. Alright, Kitt, DQ. I'm gonna try tank.
Okay. 13 minutes. It is better.
Promising.
Well, we popped. Did you hit yes already, Maeve? Come on.
Yeah, I clicked yes a million years ago.
No, you haven't. There's a tank who hasn't said yes. Say yes already. I know you're waiting for me. Press yes.
I'm pretty pressed yes.
Maeve, press the button.
Look at this.
See? Look at that. All you gotta do was press it.
I was the 1 out of 2.
You said, look at this, and you pressed it.
I sent you a screenshot. I was the 1 out of 2.
You said, look at this, and then it instantly popped.
I fucking sent you a picture.
If all members of a team fall from the platform, they forfeit the match. It's funny he says that, because we can all fall off the platform and it's not a failure. You just get stunned. If 8 people are out, it's a forced wipe. Really crazy.
This fight is just tedious. There's really not much special about it. So I'm recording this about 11 hours before the video is supposed to go live. It's like 1 a.m. the night of release. And I was looking through the Dragon's Neck information and realized that Typhon gains stacks of Invigorate during Severe Snort, which can be cleansed by the imps attacking him if they've been hit with Aqua Bubble. I don't think I've ever seen anyone use this before, and it's kind of insane that there is a way to interrupt this. I just saw this on a whim and thought it was worth putting in here, so do with that information what you will. I missed out on the minions, so I'll have to come back later. Yay. With my victory confirmed, I prepare to receive my reward when the thief appears again. In an attempt to claim the prize quickly, Gilgamesh interrupts and gives the thief an opportunity to make Typhon sneeze, inducing chaos and allowing them to claim the ring. Godbird attempts to help Hildebrand catch it, but fails absolutely miserably. The ring turns out to be a fake, and instead he steals the key to the vault to claim the real one. We convene to review the clues, and Godbird identifies the items as having a rich Belladian history. The thief provides their usual card.
Where's the card? Oopsies. I've enjoyed a little game, but all good things must come to an end. I shall claim the 4 sacred treasures and justice shall be served.
Godbert recalls a special legend about the 4 sacred relics of Belladia, inviting judgment on the sinful. With the thief continuing to win over the adoration of the common folk, time runs short for us to solve the next clue, as I head into the final set of quests in 2.5. Time to leap immediately back into the fray and hopefully solve this mystery once and for all. Ellie hasn't had time to research since I saw her 5 seconds ago, but apparently was able to write an article about the thief's newest murders that made the Mithril Eye sell like Pond's cakes. You did all that in 5 seconds? Crazy work, Ellie. Anyway, in hopes of finding a lead on the new message, we check in with Wymont, who knows absolutely nothing besides the Sultan Sworn being thrown into a tizzy because of it.
I don't know how I feel about all of these characters talking about us as lovely ladies and, pretty necks and everything, and it's like, I don't know, it feels a little uncomfortable. Is that just me?
ARR was an interesting time.
Checking in on them, finds Humphrey here, swearing he was on the straight and narrow, but calls his associate Felice. As she fangirls about Ellie, Briardine arrives and uses his latest concoction, demasking dust, on us to ensure we're the real people, as it works against the thief's disguises. I return my attention to Felice's interview and find they have no clue what the thief could be after. Hildebrand unfortunately arrives, and Felice talks about the 3 victims, all being influential figures with no common threats. I head over to investigate the scene of the crime and find a woman who laid flowers at her son's resting place, claiming he has turned into a zombie and blaming Silde and the alchemical draft that could turn people to zombies, the traitor spurn. With the lead now finally presenting itself, I head to the Thaumaturgist Guild to look into Silde and Belladia, including the cause of the 6th Umbral Calamity and a history of the bad blood between Silde and Ul'dah.
Kitt, don't surprise me like that. What's this? You're not here for your studies, but to learn of the bad blood between Ul'dah and Silde? 2 scales, one of gold and one of silver. The gold of Ul'dah weighing prosperity and power. Silver of Silde weighing knowledge and power. But the power sought by 2 nations differed greatly. Yes, greatly indeed. The power wrought by Ul'dah in prosperity was that of justice and good. The power wrought by Silde in knowledge was horrific beyond belief. Power to rip the living soul out of a man and render him a mindless killing machine. On this matter, the histories are clear. But riddle me this, my friend. Who writes the histories? What does it say of the words writ within? As one example, did you know that in the war against Sildea, Ul'dan and Amalja warriors fought side by side? Likely you did not. I did! I read the lore just now! And neither did I until I encountered a faded passage in an ancient text deep in our archives. Yet in the histories read by the populace, you'll see no mention of this most fascinating fact. Might it be that someone at some time deemed this particular truth less than convenient?
I summarize the information for everyone, and I follow another lead from Ellie to a merchant in Horizon who learned of the Arbiters of Truth, a group of people meant to suppress false information about the Ul'dah-Sildeh relationship, and a man named Hob seems to be one of the main targets. I managed to catch him just after he's been turned, so unfortunately I am forced to slay him. I return to Ul'dah to inform Felice when Ellie is assailed by a Sultan Sworn, who is then revealed as the thief. However, upon an attempt to hand over the powder that Hildebrand still has, he ends up tripping and reveals the thief to not be a thief, but instead a double mask. Hildebrand notices Ellie's absence and the relic that has been stolen from the vault. At the same time, poor Nashu gets replaced by the Phantom Thief, and things are definitely reaching a climax. Felice then reveals herself to us as the fifth Arbiter, as Nashu reappears. Hildebrand gets a sense of us being watched and bids I search for evidence. I strangely find a trail of water-stained letters that give us some demasking dust, as well as some very foreboding messages. I then stumble across Godbert, and he requests that I investigate my companions to see if I can find anything. However, I cannot identify anything out of turn for them. Hildebrand decides to interview Nashu in case she is out of turn, and...
Well, it's time for this overstuffed buffoon to start talking sense. If he asks me anything too obscure, my cover is as good as blown. Our relationship with Nashu is so close, I dare say at times it's even as if we share a mind. If this Nashu is truly my ever-loyal assistant, she's had no trouble completing my thoughts. Ahem, I am Amanda Manderville. Man! Doing what only Manderville can! From the peaks of Krithis to Thanalan, Manderville. Man! You're the best, Inspect! Perfect score. You may rest easy, dear friends. It's unmistakably, unequivocally, indubitably the true Nashu. What an idiot. Never loved you more than now, you marvelous muttonhead. Nashu, something the matter? Just because you picked up a few more wrinkles beneath the eyes, there's no need to avert the charming face of yours. Wrinkles! Look who's talking, you crusty, cretinous old... Genius Inspector? Literally outs themselves. Straight us up, Miss Ellie. Miss Ellie, you look somehow different.
The thief reveals themselves as Ceci, Ellie's sister and partner in crime. She claims the traitor Spurn was in fact manufactured by Ul'dah in their pursuit against Sildeh and changed history to make themselves look heroic in contrast. However, she rejoices that the end is nigh, as survivors stockpiled a vast stock of powder in a vault that can only be opened with the relics they've stolen, and Ellie is on her way to open it to use against everyone in Ul'dah. In a final attempt to end Felice, Ceci tosses a traitor Spurn sack, but Hildebrand intercepts it, and a new person appears on the scene.
There she is, best girl. I knew it, the presence was watching over us from the shadows. It was you, my dear wife. I love Julian. Ahem, am I to understand you are Hildebrand's mother? Holy shit, her blush is intense. It says more like it. Hand to hand, skillet to skillet. It's enough to send a warrior's pulse racing. Prepare yourself, Kitt. The time for our final confrontation is nigh. Julian's just like, stop it, you idiot. Do you have propotas for brains? You overstuffed buffoon. My beloved boy has been turned into a stinking corpse. If you hadn't bloody noticed. You, Kitt or something, was it? Lily's told me all about your hijinks together. Pleased to meet ya. My dear boy's always has a bit of a rebellious streak. What can I say? I can come on a bit too strong at times. But can you blame me? This time I thought I'd sit back and leave things to my sorry-ass husband here. Look what that got me. You'll help me out, won't you? Of course, yes! Maybe look at the fear in my eyes.
True primal.
Holy shit. I mean, Julian is a primal, let's be real. That's why you get an achievement for clearing the quest.
The best character in the whole storyline knows of a cure for the curse, and she sends me off to collect the two resources. The Oversoul rags have been claimed already, but Avila arrives and reveals the rags are for her, and gladly lets me take them as she rises again from the bottom to the top of the Colosseum, legitimately this time. Next, I track down a merchant who refuses to provide the component, annoyed that the Mandervilles are so rich in my attempt to save them. Of course, Arabella arrives, taken aback by the inspector's plight. The greedy merchant asks her for a dance, and she agrees, as long as he helps me save Hildebrand. He, of course, caves and gives it to me, begrudgingly so. Our efforts have borne quite useful fruit indeed. I quickly get the components to Julian before she beats me to death, and she is able to save him, alongside Briardine returning with Nashu, the real Nashu. Ellie has been seen, and we go track her down, as Julian makes Gilgamesh go gather fire crystals. Greg wishes so fervently for his friend to return after seeing Hildebrand's fans so widespread, and leaves us on a bit of a cliffhanger. Ooh. Ooh. I head to where Ellie was sighted and call out to her, hoping to bring her back. However, Briardine's pleas fall on deaf ears as Ellie summons an undead army.
There's too many of them. I like how his goldsmith outfit is just naked. All in a day's work for Manderville Man, now it's hammer time. I really wish this was a real limit you could have. Wait, where's Enkidu? Gilgamesh is here, but Enkidu is not. You only delay the inevitable. I have an entire legion of the undead at my beck and call. Face it, it's only with Inspector Hildebrand's ridiculously good fortune you even made it this far. He's as good as 6 films under. For we forewarned, girl, know that I speak from experience when I say underestimate Hildy, and you do so at your own peril. I'm afraid you underestimate me as well. No mere splash of holy water can stave off the effects of the traitor's spurn. Sure, the good inspector's luck has finally run out. Balls, is there no end to them? I'm not liking our chances. Greg, was it? He nods, yes. Shame to lose you, Kitt, warrior of light that you are. You might yet have served one last purpose for us. Go forth, my zombie minions. You would think she would try to turn me, because it'd be really good for her force, but I guess not. Oh my god, I forgot this happens. Elazar! Darkness falls and hope fades and despair. 4 warriors born of light shall descend into righteous glare. In that pose, no, those are not 4 warriors of light that I see. Those are 4 gentlemen of light. That blinking is creepy as hell. That's so disturbing. Dude, his head is not that shiny. Just so, my good man. Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, has made his triumphant return. Did you miss me? I like how Elazar is on our side despite wanting to yell at him. I mean, again, girl, tell me you got my snurble tonic or I'll fashion myself a wig from your lovely locks after I've ripped them clean from your bloody head. Oh, hello there, Mr. Elazar. Core, you're looking absolutely resplendent today. Impossible, the holy water couldn't have cured him. It didn't. Unfortunately, our overlord spent quite some time building up an immunity to zombie powder. We heard that Master Zombie Brand was at risk of joining the actual dead. We knew we had to take action. An immunity to... I'm just going to pretend that makes any kind of sense. That's the summation of this entire story. I'm going to pretend that that makes any sense.
With Ellie's army converted, Briardine confesses his love for Ellie and takes her into custody. Godbert promises to begin fixing history when Gilgamesh interrupts and demands a battle, forcing my hand by revealing the treaty blade and showing Enkidu, forcing me to face him at Amdabor Keep. I make my way over to the final battle, the battle at the Big Keep. Gilgamesh faces me with Enkidu at his side. The goal of the first part is to defeat Enkidu, as she will continuously heal Gilgamesh to full health with White Wind.
I believe that's a chain. Do we want to break the chain? No, we gotta come together. Come together, come together. How weird is that, Maeve? It's a chain that's a come together. Dude! Everybody's a chicken. Everybody's a chicken.
Once she falls, he retreats, and the second phase begins, where he has one of the best lines.
But enough exposition. Now let's fight like men, and ladies who dress like men.
After a transformation, he appears to fight with 6 arms and 6 weapons in a final confrontation. The only relevant mechanic is in Chain, where the chain is to be extended away from Gilgamesh, and broken before the trapped player dies. Defeating him provides an achievement, and he promises to return the Treaty Blade. Once again, I failed the minion, and later there's an important triple triad card here later. For some reason, Felice brings Ellie and Ceci here, where Briardine inquires about the relics. The sisters inform him of a scroll passed down through their family that had a special incantation and listed the 4 relics. However, the incantation can only be uttered by a warrior of light.
The ring casts open the doors of justice. The wise man whispers a verdict of truth. Azema's virtue shines down from the heavens. To complete the incantation, the warrior of light would then hold forth the treaty blade and speak, blade in hand, I swear unto you. Over here, friends, Hildebrand, agent of inquiry, returns with tidings most triumphant. Behold, safe in my hands, none of the treaty blade, and the real one this time, I swear unto you. My word, whatever is this odd tingling sensation? Particularly, Hildebrand isn't a warrior of light. He's just some fool who thought he could stop the lesser moon with his own bare hands. No, the lights. Someone stop it. I won't stand to see the legendary power of our forefathers wielded by this muscle-bound buffoon. Bye, friend. Skyward ho! Well, I dare say that proved to be the most useful incantation indeed. Inspector, oh Inspector, wait for me! All's balls, Hildy. First you almost die at your poor mother's feet, now you fly off to God knows where without even giving her a kiss goodbye? So in the end, the Sylvan incantation of legend was wielded not by a warrior of light, but a gentleman of light. Well, the treaty blade is some 6 centuries old after all, perhaps it's not quite as sharp as it used to be. He bumbles and stumbles through yet another case, and still he manages to make a girl's dream come true. A gentleman to the end, the bloody bastard. How do I turn this thing off? Right, I think he asked that at one point, how do you turn this thing off? What's this? A glint in the corner of my eye, a curious scent wafting in on the winds of a far-flung land. Do I smell a case? Were it not for me, my friends, for wherever the wronged want for succor, I Hildebrand shall be there until we meet again. And that's the end. Give me the achievement, please, so I can move on. I think there's a cutscene at the end. Hildebrand will return? There it is!
With the end of whatever this is, the final achievement to 2.5 is claimed, opening the path to more of the Manderville pursuits, but that is for another day. A very, very long day. That place will be my grave, I'm sure of it. That was quite an involved story. So many hijinks and a lot of chaos, but that's just how Hildebrand is. It was a fun diversion from the other grinds I've had to do, and for what is to come. With the final major bits of 2.5 completed, I earned 5 more achievements, adding 80 points, bringing the total to 644 achievements earned out of a possible 782, and 5,325 points earned. Next time, it's time to do Maeve's favorite pastime, and go gambling for more than a few months.